Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Stephen Choi. This is Trading with Livevol, and this is where I trade my real Reg T account, and I use LVX to do it, and you guys can kind of see what I do and how I do it. So let's just go to my account. I'm pretty flat today. Over the last month, looks like, I made about 18,000. Over the last 6 months, looks like I'm up about 45,000. Most of my differential today is in TRW and TWX. So I can kind of go over the TWX because that's my, it's slowly becoming pretty much my largest position. So as you guys know, in TWX, I was doing this time spread. Last time I talked to you guys about I wanted to do about 100 of the August 85, October 85, August 87.5, October 87.5, and then buy some August 90 calls. So before today, let me actually do this. So when I came in today, this was my position, right? Basically what I had was I was going to collect in the next, let me actually get rid of all this stuff. I was going to collect if basically the stock stayed right around 85, and that's kind of how I was designing it, because I didn't think it was going to get done quickly, and obviously I had and I bought little extra calls here, 30 lot of the 90s, just in case somebody else came in and bid higher, or even if Murdoch came back and bid higher. So since then, couple of new things happened. So the Murdoch, because of the credit rating that he didn't want to, he didn't want to go get his credit rating downgraded. He was actually exploring selling some assets in Europe. When I actually put this on, from all the articles I've read, it seemed like he was going to be able to maybe complete it by end of August expiration, which is kind of why, I felt like nothing was going to happen in August. I found out this morning that he basically did come to an agreement to sell it, which means why the stock kind of took an uptick. So as soon as they did that, I wanted to buy the August 85, 87.5, 90. Let's see if I can see this trades. Yeah, so you see this, I bought this for around 68, 67 cents, this call spread. And the reason I did that was because I feel like now the chances are increasing that he'll make actually a bid before August expiration. So I wanted to make sure that if he does bid higher, that I do okay, right? So if you look at it, if he does it, you only do 10%, but if he ends up bidding higher before August expiration, and let's say the stock goes to like $87 to $90, I can make anywhere between 10 and like $6,000 to $10,000, right? So that's kind of how I'm positioning it right now. And also, because there is a chance that this deal could go off, I wanted to own just a minimum amount of put, so it kind of mitigated my losses, right? So I did this spread for $1. because I didn't think it was going to go down. It actually went down below this, but looks like today it rebounded. So these are pretty much going to go out worthless. I have a dime bid on them right now, and then I'll have these. So let's say let's say I bought these back. This will be my position afterwards. So my downside will be kind of capped at 13K. Instead of like the possibility of losing like 22,000 if something disastrous were to happen, right? So that's kind of what I'm planning on right now. I think there's a good chance that there's another bid coming. I don't know if it's going to happen by August expiration, but I think it could very well. I give it like 50% chance it happens before August. And I think the bid's going to be between $90 and $95. Now, I would like to say the stock's going to trade at 90, but I have no idea. So my guess is 50-50 that I'll trade, that he's going to put in a bid between 90 and 95 before August expiration. And then basically, I'm set up to do that. Now, one thing that is important for everyone to know is as soon as he makes that higher bid, it's not over, right? As soon as he makes this higher bid, if he is right, I think I'm going to have to start buying puts. Kind of like what I did with Shire, just because there's going to be many ups and downs with this stock. So so you see how it went up here. This was kind of in the high range. It sold off here. I think it might go back up to maybe around the 90 range, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if this stock kind of visits the $80 range or lower at some point before this deal gets done. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I have to be ready for it. So I'm thinking the move is up before down, so I'm gonna prepare myself. Once this has the next pop is when I'm gonna have to load up on the downside, just to make sure that I don't get burned. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now with Time Warner. I had this on like 100 times. If for whatever reason he doesn't bid up this month and the stock stays around here, I can let this run out worthless, and then I'll have this naked. But basically, for since I bought 50 of these back for 68 cents, 133, for basically I'll be owning these calls for an average of like $2.33. So if everything were to expire worthless, right? In this month because he doesn't make a bid. So let's say nothing happens, right? Basically, by August 15th, I'm still gonna make about $1,000 because I'm collecting data on this trade. So that's kind of TWX, TRW. As you guys know, I have this butterfly on. I bought this call for 50 cents today. Now you see this large open interest. It was curious to me why people are buying it, but this stock, if for whatever reason this deal doesn't go through, and TRW falls back to whatever price it started at, but I don't think it's going to fall back all the way to where it started at. So it's not going to fall back to like 92. Most likely it'll be more like $95, $96 range. At that point, I think if you actually run the normal vol on this might actually go up, even though the stock went down. But I'm not sure why people are buying this. But I bought one just to kind of keep an eye on it. But So I have about, what, 25th, so I have 1, 2, so I have about 3 weeks left on this before I lose it all if they don't announce the buyout. So I'm kind of hoping they do announce it in the next couple of weeks. I think I wouldn't really be concerned until we got to the last week and they didn't make an announcement. But for the next 2 weeks, I'm just going to kind of just wait, be patient, and see if they announce it. On the last week, if they don't announce it, it's not like all these are going to go to 0 that week. So I will have some chance to get out, but obviously it's gonna be for a loss, right? There hasn't been too many trades. Basically, this is pretty, this is normal in terms of volume. So it's pretty much very quiet. One of the reasons why I think it's going to get done in August versus September is if you look at this open interest and there's no trading in September, right? It makes me think either, most people who are knowledgeable about this company is thinking it's going to either get done in August or it's not going to get done because there's no bets going on in September. So if I really thought there's 50-50 chance that'll happen in September, I would be putting on September options versus August. But as you can see, all the open interest is in August and hardly any is in September. So that's kind of how you can use the kind of trying to kind of figure out what people are thinking. Also, if you look at my risk chart, for those of you who are not aware of what I'm putting on, I'm going to run this as one vol. So it's almost like as though I'm running it forward to expiration, and this is basically what I'm doing, right? So I made a couple of grand yesterday just because it went up a little bit. Anyway, basically this is my risk reward, right? So my total risk, including all the profits I made and stuff like that, it's about 6,000, and my gain is up to like 18,000. So 1, 2, 3. I kind of did that on the notes. Yeah. So here it is. So if you played this 3 times, the average expected return average is 4K, which is 66% return in a month on a $6,000 bet. Right, so this is kind of what I'm thinking, and this is why I'm doing it. Right. All right. So good luck to me. Hope it works out. But I feel like whether it works out or not, it's a good bet. Now it's up to just so you guys know, like all these things, you can't. How should I put this? You can only control what's in your hands, right? So what's under my control is making the bet, understanding the risks, the rewards, reading all the articles, and then placing the bets. I really don't know what the outcome is because it's not like I'm sitting down and negotiating the deal, right? So what's important as a trader is to make the best risk-reward bet that you can. And in the end, whether it works out or not, what you need to do is assess whether it was a good risk-reward bet, not so much on just solely on the outcome. Obviously, if you make good risk-reward bets over the long run, your outcome will actually tell you how good a trader you're doing, how good a trader you are. But just in each individual trade, it's important to understand that what you're really evaluating is your trade, how you traded, why you traded, the risk reward of the trade, the expected return of the trade, and your analysis of the trade more than the outcome, right? Sometimes you're going to get on the street, and just to let you guys know, I've been doing this for like a very, very long time, and some of it is just luck. Sometimes you're just going to get on the street, and sometimes you're just going to go on a bad streak. It really doesn't mean whether you're making good or bad bets. That's something you have to do after each result. You have to go back and kind of, in retrospect, kind of think about whether you did a good trade or not. So this one I'm very comfortable with. I'm fully expecting it to win, even though, as you guys can see, my chances of winning, I actually put it only at 33% in terms of my breakdown. Okay? All right, so Facebook. So Facebook had awesome earnings. They got a bunch of upgrades. So I noticed something about Facebook, not only Facebook, but like a lot of stocks, right? So they, it has this uptick after earnings, and it stays there for a few days, and then it runs up, right? So Facebook's done it a few times where it has this like big up move, and then it kind of goes higher, big up move, and then over the next couple of months it goes higher. So I'm thinking like this is another big up move, right? Kind of like this or this or this or this, and that we're gonna have follow through after all the guys who bought it down here just to sell it at a high price is done. So what I'm waiting for is all the sellers to get out of the way, so the stock naturally has no more sellers and only buyers as time goes. So I wasn't sure about the timing. So you see how like I was comfortable that it was going to go up. I just didn't know when. So I actually bought these December. And I bought the Decembers because it still had one more earnings. So I felt like this volatility wasn't going to get crushed because most likely the earnings are going to be in late October. So as you can see, it's October 23rd, October 30th. So it's going to be after October expiration, and the earnings, until they come up with November options, is going to be considered in December. So I felt pretty good that the volatility in December won't get crushed. So I bought these, right? Because my thinking is that Facebook most likely will go, once it settles, so eventually I'll go up to around $80 to $85, right? So since I bought the earnings, it's almost the same as if you look at the past earnings when Facebook was trading 72. It's almost like owning the September 70 calls. Okay, so September 70 calls is pretty much same as what I'm owning now if I ran it to December, right? So if I wanted to kind of see, and you know, like you can go to some, I think we have a calculator here too. You can go to a calculator and punch it in, but I just do kind of a quick rough estimate of what it could be, and I check it out. So the 70 calls, if I look at it before earnings, you can see it on this left corner when it pops up. The low was 415 and the high was 505. So let's say it's around 450, right? So I think if Facebook doesn't move at all from this point, I'm going to lose about 350, or about 37% or 38% of these option value going into earnings. Obviously, if it goes lower, I'm going to lose more, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Also, I think you know, there is if the stock goes higher, right? So let's say Facebook goes higher in the next month or so, then I can kind of see, let's say it goes up $5, then my 72.5 calls might be close to this kind of worth around $11, maybe a little less. But let's say I think it's going to go to like 82.5, right? Because I said 80 to 85. So 82.5 will be 65, which will be 485. So it should be almost a 58% return on my money. So let me actually. Okay. I guess it doesn't. I don't know how these sticky notes work, but let me actually do it on top of it. So basically, Facebook trading lower, Facebook trading same, Facebook trading between 80 85, and Facebook other. So other could be, let me actually make it easier. 85 plus, right? So my thinking is, maybe there's about 20% chance of this happening. I think that's actually 15%. And then this is about 20%. This is the 40%. Yeah, so basically, this is what I think is going to happen, right? So, let's say these guys and these guys push each other, right? So let's just say like, minus 50%, plus 50%, or whatever. The thing in between here, maybe this is minus 40%. Or minus 35% roughly, right? And then this would be plus 35%, right? So if I made a $8,000 bet, basically my expected return should be whatever 8,000 times this multiplication, right? So in this instance, I'm gonna make 35%. And I would be playing this what, like, so I'm gonna actually be 35% of my. So I expect to actually make push on one of these, right? So I lose 50% on 2 times, lose 35% 2 times, make 35% 4 times, and then make 20%, 50% 2 times, right? So if I were to invest, let's say 10K, just to keep it simple, right? And I played this thing 10 times. I'm gonna expect to return 7K. It's 7K. It's 7K because actually, sorry, 3.5K. It's 3.5K because basically the money I made here gets canceled out here. One of these gets canceled out, and then one of those times I'm gonna make 3,500 bucks, right? 35% return. So basically, if I did this, you know what? I'm gonna actually do them. Sorry. It seems easier if I did it. So in this one, I'm gonna lose 5K 2 times, so I'm gonna lose 10K. And this one, I'm gonna lose 7K. And this one, I'm gonna make 14K. And then this one, this is 14. This is 28. And I should make 10K. So basically, basically this would be my outcome if I did this 10 times. And these two really don't really matter. It could be minus 70, plus 70, but I think they'll cancel each other out, and you'll make $14,000. $14,000 expected return, so you would actually make 1,400. Right, so your expected return is to return 14% on your money on this trade. So I kind of like it. So that's why I'm doing it. So now I was kind of trying to show it to you how I was thinking about it. I was actually doing it slightly differently in my mind, because I try to do this just in my head. So my thinking was 1/3 it'll be even or lower, and 2/3 it'll be even or higher. So if you bet 10,000 and you made 5,000, basically this actually is your expected return, 14%, which isn't too bad, and that's kind of what I'm betting on over the next month. That I'll make 14% return on this trade, and that's why I'm doing it. All right, so that took longer than I expected, but that's that. And then I don't know if you guys know, but the XLU, I basically just keep writing, basically just doing the buy right, pseudo buy right by buying this and keep selling calls. Seems like it's working out okay. If I had more cash, I would probably do it bigger, but right now I don't have as much, so I'm just doing this stuff. Let's actually cover some of the earnings. All right, SOHU. Basically, you know, Baidu had tremendous earnings. SOHU is, the options are implying a 7.8% move, moved an average of 8.2%. Looks like more calls to puts, but in the end, the volume isn't really that high. Other one is HLF. So they've been on the news all the time with Ackman. I tend to agree more with Ackman, but in the end, like this, it's more, there's like too many heavy hitters on both sides, so it's not really, anything could happen, right? They could have actually planned it, so Ackman will talk about it, and then all the other guys come in and buy just to make him look like an idiot. So in the end, you know, any kind of business where, you know, you're relying on like exponential growth of salespeople, I guess you have to really evaluate whether that's a real business or not. But that's it. HLF is expecting a 4.7%, implying a 4.7% move, moved an average of 1.8%. I tend to think like maybe the stock's not really going to move as much, just because it moved so much in the last week. But that's just me. Masco, implying a 5.1% move, moved an average of 4.7%. It's at the 33 percentile. A lot of calls trading, but most of it looks like it's in some kind of spread. Not sure if they're buying or selling. Looks like they're buying the call spread, but I wouldn't really know exactly. BP is next, implying an average move, implying a move of 1.1%, moved an average of 2.8%. It's at the 50th percentile, and as you can see, the largest trades are call buying, even though it's not really that big of trades, right? The other one is Merck. Looks like more puts are trading than calls. Looks like they're selling the 52.5 puts in January, which I don't know how much that means. Implying a 1.8% move, the stock moved an average of 1.7% and then set the 28th percentile. Reynolds, pretty much no action here. I actually thought there would be more, implying a 2.3% move, moved an average of 1.6%. So that's about it. I'm going to look into you know, a couple of the stocks that came in and report to you guys on Monday, Soda and Trulia, just to see if this buyout stuff is really for real or not. But that's about it. On Monday, if I'm here, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be here, but if I'm here, I'm going to probably broadcast it in the morning, and then you guys can see it at the normal 10 o'clock Pacific time. Other than that, hope everything goes well. You guys have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you guys on Monday.